I think we are in for something very, very historic right now. Personally, I do believe that we are going through a monetary reset, and I wrote about it in my first book back in 2007 and 8 when I was writing that, and I wrote about it in my most recent book. And the previous steps, we had the classical gold standard before World War I, and then the gold exchange standard between the wars, and then the Bretton Woods system from 44 to 71, and now the global dollar standard, which is the most poorly designed. It's an accident, basically. All of these floating exchange rates, making international trade so difficult. You have to wonder what level of prosperity mankind would be on if we had stayed with honest money that balances global economies and doesn't allow all of the trade deficits and budget deficits. When we used gold, there was something called crowding out, where if the government tried to borrow too much to do too much deficit spending, they're borrowing gold out of the economy, and that causes interest rates to rise and slows the economy, and that reduces the amount of tax revenues that come in. So it was an automatic balancing system that kept government from getting out of control. And now we've got governments around the world that are just completely out of control. It's like everybody has gone insane. And so we've had these baby steps off of gold, and now we're going to go from nothing back to something in one giant leap.
Mike Maloney says a historic monetary reset is underway due to massive currency creation with very little new gold. This will cause a major wealth transfer to those holding physical gold and silver. He warns of severe shortages as demand surges, especially when it hits the US, leading to explosive price moves. Thanks for watching. Give a thumbs up and subscribe to Find Metals for more updates.
The silver rush that's happening around the world is quite amazing, and it's not happening in the United States. And that says that the top is nowhere near being in yet. I think that we probably have another couple of years here, and this is going to be going very, very big. There will come a day where people are lining up. How many people have read my book, The Great Gold and Silver Rush of the 21st Century? Okay. In that book, I've got some excerpts from Time magazine back in '79 and '80. Showing just how massive what was, I said on the panel yesterday that there's 18 times more people with 55 times more currency, and that has changed since I wrote the book back in 2022. Summer of 2022 is where the data comes from. And so now we've got 70, 80 times more currency on the planet, and only twice as much more gold. And back in the 70s, until 75, the only populations on the planet that could buy was Western Europe and Canada, basically. The US was excluded, the USSR, Mao's China, and there were no markets and no commodities exchanges in any of these places. What's happening right now is, yes, there is a short squeeze because all of the big bullion banks were heavily net short, some of the very big players, and the public is waking up. And so it's the public that's causing the short squeeze. It's the physical market, not the paper market. And the paper market is just another huge fractional reserve scam, where there can be up to like 300 ounces traded for every real ounce that's deliverable in the vault. And so as that unwinds, back in January and February, March, Trump was talking about auditing Fort Knox. We've got to go see if the gold is there. And then everything went quiet. But the price of gold has been going up. Now, central banks lease gold, and almost all, it's like 99.7% of all the US's gold has been pledged to the Federal Reserve from the Treasury, and the Federal Reserve has the gold. Central banks do lease gold. This is just a fact. And when they lease it, it can be rehypothecated. It can be basically sold on paper over and over again. So to unwind those leases so that they can return the gold without any claims on the gold. This price rise, I think we are going through this monetary reset, and we are going to be using the gold that is the American people's gold. The government acts like they own it. They don't. It's yours.
During COVID, it was very difficult to get any metals at all. It really was unobtanium. But during the recent surge, I didn't have any difficulties. Is that what your experience is also? And
in the United States, you don't have any difficulties. Around the rest of the world, there was some difficulties. Did you see the videos of the lines developing in Australia? And this was also happening in Southeast Asia and in India. There will come a day, and it's probably not that far away, where there is a rush in the United States. And when that happens, you're going to see some real fireworks. It's going to be quite amazing. And you're going to be so glad that you are invested in precious metals.
Russia has almost full gold reserves for their M1 currency. And it seems like as gold goes up, the ruble goes up. It's gone up 40% against the American dollar last year. What do you see in the future with the price of gold probably going up?
Well, I think that, you know, it's a shame that Canada sold all their gold. They have none. And then Great Britain sold half their gold right at the very bottom.
Yes.
Yeah, it has been amazing that we put in all of these economic barriers against Russia, and right away their currency starts taking off and gaining against the US dollar. I don't know if that has to do with their gold reserves or not. That it was very enlightening data, and I'm going to have to confirm that the backing for their M1 currency supply, that could be the reason, because the central bank reserves, central banks have been buying, but one of the reasons that gold has now become a larger percentage of reserves than the euro, it's the second largest percentage after the dollar, is because of the price rise of gold. How many ounces they already had times the price. And so measured in all of these idiotic fiat currencies, it's become a larger and larger percentage, and this isn't going to stop. And we will be on some sort of monetary system that is connected with gold. That's the reason. And, you know, it is interesting that no central bank is buying Bitcoin, for instance. Scott Bessent basically analyzed some of the videos that he had made, and he basically said, gold, 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 not Bitcoin. That's what he said about reserves. Yeah.
Do you see any problems with actually trading the silver in for gold when that ratio comes down?
I don't see that many problems, because that's when everybody will want it. They're going to be, in late '79, the public changed their preference from gold to silver. And, you know, the Hunt brothers were used as scapegoats, basically. They had such a concentrated position in silver that it was easy. And they got charmed by the leverage of margin toward the end. You know, at first, there was a great article in Playboy magazine called Silverfinger, where they had this shootout at the Circle K ranch, and the Circle K Cowboys, the best marksmen that the Hunt brothers had, went with them to New York, and 3 737s, or 727s back then, were used, and this was like midnight, in the middle of the night, with these cowboys guarding all the silver that they were taking delivery from the COMEX, and then they flew it to Switzerland. So they took delivery of physical bars. They honestly thought that the dollar was doomed, because it had only been a fiat currency for just a few years at that point. And, you know, throughout history, all fiat currencies have failed except for the ones that exist right now. And this experiment started in 1971. All the world's currencies used to be connected to gold through the US dollar under the Bretton Woods system. But to get back to your question, the gold-silver ratio, I don't think there's going to be any problem selling silver to buy gold. You may end up having to buy kilo bars instead of gold. There will be shortages on certain products, but you'll be able to, there will be so many people wanting the silver because of the performance of silver, and you have to be early, not late. I'd rather be years early than a day too late. You know, somebody asked, could we go into a big inflation without real estate and stocks going through a big deflation, because they are in hyperbubbles right now? And the answer is yes. It's called a melt up. And the thing that'll be melting up the fastest is the prices of gold and silver. Years ago, I sort of coined the terms, they become unaffordium and unobtanium. First, they become unaffordium. Back in the global financial crisis of 2008, there was a period of time. My first book had just come out. Goldsilver.com was a fairly small dealer back then. I was trying to source gold and silver from anywhere that I could, and there was about 10 days where the only product that I had was kilo bars of gold. I couldn't, all the dealers end up going on allocation. The US Mint can only produce so much, and so I couldn't get gold and silver eagles, and then there was actually 3 days where I couldn't find any gold or silver. I was basically out of business. But before that happens, the price of physical diverges from the spot price, and gold and silver start to become unaffordium. And then, finally, unobtanium. Gold and silver are Giffen goods, where as the price rises, instead of causing less demand, it causes more demand. And gold and silver are the perfect examples of that. I do think that there will be something, settlement between central banks. Gold will be involved there. As far as pegging the US dollar to some sort of price of gold, I think Alan and I did an analysis on that, and to pay off the national debt required more than $140,000 an ounce. Well, that will upset the entire economy, and suddenly every gold mining company that's here, you want to own all of their stocks, because they are going to be extremely wealthy companies if that happened. I just don't see how that could happen without a shock to the global economy that would be just absolutely devastating, because everything, one asset being worth more than all the other assets on the planet, basically, it would put everything out of balance. So I've got a workshop, I believe it's tomorrow night. How many people came here because of my videos? Could everybody stand up that came here because of the, okay, so yes. I promised you some time together if we, oh, by the way, the people that are from overseas, you remain standing for a second. If you came here from somewhere else in the world, so interesting, that is awesome. So we'll get together during my workshop tomorrow evening and spend as much time as you want.
Bitcoin, which you just mentioned, it is a fixed value, whereas gold continues to be mined, which is kind of a nebulous value. How do you think that fares as far as an investment vehicle comparison?
Well, the stock-to-flow ratio, we mine gold at about the same rate that we make babies. So the amount of gold per person
okay, good.
On the planet remains about the same. And then mankind gets better at everything that we do every single year. And so the natural order of things is we should be going through a steady, mild deflation that just does, everything should be getting cheaper. In fact, if you take a look at how much time is required for you to, we used to spend 100% of our time trying to find the food that we were going to eat that day. Now, that just requires a few minutes of your time, and you're surrounded by all of these things. You know, you got a big house, you've got cell phones, you've got TVs, you've got cars, and so on. The time value in stuff, the stuff that we all buy and need to survive, has been falling and falling and falling, yet the price measured in fiat currency goes up and up and up. Why is that? It's because fiat currency is dishonest money, where gold and silver are honest money. Fiat currency isn't money.
So do you feel cryptos are a dead money?
I think that 98% of the cryptos that exist right now aren't going to exist in 10 years. I think there's going to be some big winners. I'm invested in something that I consider to be the #1 distributed ledger. I don't consider it a crypto as much as one of the most useful accounting tools on the planet that can secure everything, because it's a distributed ledger.
Do you think the United States is going to revalue its gold reserve, and will Trump put it in a strategic reserve?
Yeah, I have a feeling that that's what's going on right now, but first they have to unwind all of this rehypothecation that is happening. All the gold leases that the Federal Reserve has done have to be unwound, and that is probably what is the partial cause for this tremendous price rise that we've seen.